Chẳng hạn cứ dương nâng thưa cá tu sân á vì ca lê tập ốp nấy perfumer bật bật con mà nè cứ Roger Dove đã phần men miền tập ốp con nó không đầy đá miền màn đọp đá hay tập ốp con cứ đầm lay rọp rồi được là thay chiên Chanel thay chiên gì tiền vậy chẳng tập pen ai than niche fragrance hay wow cứ perfect sito anh ấy cái hai tháng perfumer real perfumer ok lấy dương tới chỗ sai hướng cứ let's go of fragrance.
So how do I personally start the creative process? The first thing I do is have an idea of the end scent in my mind and then have to stop to think what raw materials might give me that effect. So for this creation I'm going to work on something, let's call it the Fragrance Foundation fragrance. Fragrance Foundation UK, what is it? It's bright, it's dynamic, it's very forward thinking, so I want to use a lot of very, very fresh citrus raw materials to give dynamism, but we also respect huge tradition, very much like the country. So the first thing I will do is take one of the oils, so in this case the first material I'm going to use is bergamot. Bergamot is the most multifaceted of all the citrus materials, so I just put a little touch of that on the end of the blotter. It will give me sweetness, has a slight woody aspect, so it's going to connect well to the wood notes I'm going to use in the base. I want to freshen it.
Chẳng có bé muốn cái lưu cái min cái hai ha khăn đã cái sầm máy nó khơi trong ban sẵn xong ta nâng vậy mùi rồi cô than là ca bây giờ cả bạn mình hai bạn cái chập đám do nứ vật thổ riêu vật thổ thiệt đám cái một đám bầy thừa cá tam chùm nè chắc đăng vào cái đầm bầy ly tới ở cái thời tam stang đa phóng ở vì tranh ban chỉ khăn là cái trong bàn phổ nhớ này cho là có chập đam thì đòi dọ phê nó bỏ khổ gìอย่างtự hay còn có đăng thang nó vì ai nào thấy sao băng lệ rồi anh mới sẽ bỏ phê mấy nhảy sơn.
To give this a big burst of acidity, I have in my mind that I want to blend this whole accord with pink pepper because it's very vibrant, very, very dynamic. So let's try this with double the measure of the bergamot. I want to use something which is a little sweet, but in the end the scent itself won't be sweet. So in this instance, I'm going to use a note of orange. The orange tree gives us more different types of oil than any other raw material. So this particular one is bitter orange. So this is the inedible orange fruit. So it's unmistakably orangey, but very, very zesty. It makes you think of the rind. By the side of it, the big note of lime, which I want to be key in this composition. Lime is lovely because it has, again, a sweetness, whilst because it's citrus, it itself is very, very fresh. And this particular lime has a very slight camphoraceous aspect to it, and that camphoraceous quality is going to work wonderfully in with a note of very, very high-grade lavender. Lavender varies from an olfactory point of view a lot depending on the altitude at which it grows, and the higher it is, the less camphor it has. But quite an interesting fact is that the very, very best lavender in the world was English lavender, which has only just started to be commercially grown again, really. But the best grade lavender grew in Mitcham, near Croydon.
Còn the lavender nó cũng vì miền cái đồng bọn na đã lọ đây chỗ này. Chứ bây giờ dùng than nó cứ raw material nó để cái perfect nó. Anh nó với thử tên chân. Chẳng là bỏ tập bê khá thay cứ để xa khưởng xong cứ người để cái perfect nó. You know?
And cost 10 times the price of the best French. I'm sure that will change everybody's journeys when they pass through Croydon next time on a train. So this device allows me just to spin it. By spinning it, it gently mixes the oils and it gives me an idea, is this citrus facet, which is going to be part of the composition, how I'd like it to be or not. What I then generally would do is keep adding different oils, different blotters onto it to build the creation this way. So it's like a sketch. For those people that love fashion, I would say this is really the equivalent of somebody just drawing a very, very, very rough sketch before a toile is made, and from the toile, which is the white first pattern, which allows a garment to be made, whether that's a man's suit or a woman's ball gown, who knows. So now I'm going to start the creative process itself. The first thing I'm going to do is to weigh out the alcohol. We use many different grades of alcohol in perfumery. This is at 100% proof, and the reason that I use this particular grade of alcohol is because I use oils which are very, very, very concentrated, a lot of very rich and viscous oils. So having weighed that out in the formula, the next thing I put it into this little mixing flask. The important thing is not to forget what you're doing. So all the way through, I need to notate every single thing that ends up in this flask. So I've used 100 ml of 100% proof alcohol. The next thing I will do is start to take the oils that I'm going to use for the formula from the organ. The reason this is called a perfumery organ is generally it's a piece of furniture, and the bottles which are on it, which are normally larger than this, I use this one because I travel a lot to visit my clients, look a bit like the stops on a church organ. So many years ago somebody gave it the name L'Orgue Parfum or perfumery organ. So I'm going to start to take out some of the oils that I used in the first sketch. So we'll take bergamot, lemon, bitter orange, lime, lavender, and so the process will continue until I have most of the raw materials I think are the ones that I need to work with on this particular creation. It stops the floral aspect smelling as floral, and it's suddenly taken my mind off into a new direction of some materials in the base that I hadn't thought would work with it. It brings out what we call the indolic aspect of the jasmine, which I didn't expect it to do. And the indolic materials and everything we think of as being very, very sensual. So, right. So next we start to look at how you can push dynamism into the base. Any material you put in the base which has the feeling of dynamism or diffusion is going to affect everything that is above it.
ចឹងឥឡូវគឺដល់ចូលដល់មូលដ្ឋានអញ្ចឹងកំណត់ចំណាំឬក៏និយាយបើយើងនិយាយទូទៅកំណត់ចំណាំនៃក្លិនគឺវាមានខាងលើ top note វាមាន mirror note ឬគេហៅ head note ហ្នឹងហើយជាមួយនឹង bass អញ្ចឹងអាហ្នឹងចាំ detail នៅក្រោយទៀតព្រោះអាមិនមែនជំនាញខាងលេខរបស់វាទេគាត់តែដឹងថាតម្រាំចេញទៅអស់មួយគឺតម្រូវការច្រើនដូចគេបង្ហាញអញ្ចឹងដូចគាត់បង្ហាញអញ្ចឹងហើយគាត់សិតមានហេតុមានផលដែលគាត់ដាក់អីមិនដាក់អីប្រើកលកម្រិតណាប្រហែលភាគរយគេសិតតែរៀនគេមានសញ្ញាបត្រចឹងអញ្ចឹង
So without the two materials I'm going to use next, this scent will feel fresh, but the freshness will be quite fleeting. So here you have bejos, or pink pepper. It's a material I want to be very careful with because I think it's been really overused in perfumery, and so you could end up with something which is very cliched if there's too much. And along with the diffusion, it also has this lovely woody aspect underneath, which I think is going to work very, very nicely with cedarwood.
Cái ly cái hạt cái mẹn miên thuốc bổn bổn hay mà còn để chạm cho cái này hay.
The next material is
Call
the
yourself
other
perfume
very
man.
diffusive material which comes further down in the composition I mentioned. This is called lit de vin, and lit de vin is made from the wine lees, so the sediment that's found in the bottom of a cognac barrel in this particular instance. And so the sediment has obviously taken all the tannins from the wood of the barrel, along with the cognac itself. And just like when you smell cognac, you get a big diffusion in your nose, you're going to get that hopefully in this fragrance, and it will push forward those citrus materials that are in the top. Lit de vin. So it sounds strange when you hear that the perfume has cognac in it. It's actually an essential oil that's taken from the sediment in the bottom of the cognac barrel. Okay, so now I said I wanted to work on this woody aspect. This was my idea of trying to put something traditional with something which is vibrant and slightly more modern. And so this is patchouli, but this is not a full patchouli, it's a rectified patchouli, which means that it's a fraction of the whole. So the beauty of it, it has all of the earthiness we know when we think of patchouli. It has the mossiness, it has the woodiness, but what it doesn't have is the enormous depth. I think that an unrectified patchouli would end up making this composition smell old-fashioned. And it's not...
យ៉ាងដែរពេលបើសិនអ្នកធ្លាប់ប្រើទាំងអស់បានច្រើនហើយធ្លាប់ស្រាវជ្រាវនៅក្នុង fragrance កាឧទាហរណ៍ចុះគឺយើងឃើញអា top note ហ្នឹងពីច្រើនក្រូចទៅពេល like you know ទឹក fresh របៀបអីចឹងដល់ពេលអាកដាលហ្នឹងពីច្រើនទឹកផ្កាអីណាអញ្ចឹងទៅហើយ base ពីច្រើនគឺលក្ខណៈ patchouli ឈើ some sort of oud អីចឹងណាអញ្ចឹងវាមានច្រើនពីច្រើនមិនចាណាពីច្រើនគឺអញ្ចឹងញ៉ាំហ្នឹងការលាយទាំងអស់ឲ្យចេញមួយគឺគេមានដំណាក់កាលគេអីតាមទៅអញ្ចឹងណា
It's not the result I want, the end effect I want. I want this idea of dynamism and modernity, because I said this is the Fragrance Foundation fragrance, and the UK Fragrance Foundation is about that, dynamism. So as that's gone in, it's squashed some of the, or flattened some of the citrus materials, so I have to come back to those to see how they might need modifying. Next, adding to this woody aspect, here comes the big wood note. So this is cedarwood. Cedarwood has, or woods have an amazing ability to make every other raw material linger. So they help hold materials, and they make the scents generally linger very, very well in the air. The difference between cedarwood and sandalwood is that cedarwood is very, very dry, it doesn't have any sweetness, so it lends itself well to chypre and fougere accords, whereas sandalwood is generally a much sweeter, creamier, and more rounded wood, and it tends to lend itself more to very classical oriental style scents. The next thing I want to do is revisit the orange. I think the orange note can be pushed forward more. So this is trying to show very quickly how this thing of constantly re-evaluating a scent and trying to balance the materials out is a very long, painstaking job. It can take literally months sometimes to balance a formula. So I think that little bit of added bit of orange has helped that a lot. But I think it also wants freshening more, and so I revisit the note of lemon. The way the raw materials have stopped this hesperidic note from pushing forward has meant that I've really used a lot of citrus on the re-sniff, the rebalance. It's so much easier to add things, as I said earlier, once it's in there, you can't take it out. So that started to give it this lovely balance between warmth, woodiness, earthiness, a touch of sweetness without the scent being sweet, and this very, very dynamic, fresh burst from the citrus. Then this is labdanum. You will see as I drop this oil in how thick the oil is. And you'll also see as this oil sits in the bottom of this formula, it will actually form rings. So I just want to pull up the pink pepper a bit. I was maybe too cautious with it earlier. The last material that I'm going to put in here is a very, very beautiful old-fashioned base. This base is a legendary base in the industry. You can see when you use that sort of pipette, you have to be able to count very fast. It's very hard to control as the drops come. What is a base? A base is nothing to do with the base note. They are specialty raw materials that different compounders make, and they're like little mini perfumes in their own right. So when you use them in a formula, the beauty of it is that each ingredient, if there was a low dose of the ingredient in the formula, when you put it in your creation, it's so minuscule that no one can quite tell where that particular effect or raw material comes from. So let me see if this gives me what I was hoping for. Well, I think that's really not bad for a morning's work. I set out to create something which was fresh, which was dynamic, but at the same time as warm and rich, modern and yet traditional. And I think that's kind of quite done it. Fragrance foundation for fragrance. I wonder what Annalise and Linda will think of it.
Chắc các bạn chọn cái ca này còn là có thưa đời xa cái interview có khang fragrance foundation UK nè, chẳng có thưa clean làm bài foundation này cái nè, hay giờ chẳng anh nắng cái chia còn là ca phải chọn mỗi bàn tay phải chọn ở trên chỉ rùa riêng mình đến cứ cái nè thử cất bị hướng đo design như gọi vậy thiệt chẳng phải để chọn càng nghĩa cứ cái bật chia ưu tiên họ CK cho cái nhé cái miền miền cái miền standard cái thầm thử mình vào bên đang chọn để cứ miền process cho anh tiệt đam mê trên chỉ plug cả chẳng vậy việc cứ chỉ ca cái là perfumer mình tên riêng perfumer bây giờ còn này dục người ta vừa London thì nó là năng vi kind of like lùi kia đấy anh bắt clone nó có thử đây mình tên tới bây giờ map xu dù bao nhiêu mình cứ it's not that right clone rồi bàn tay với admin license được có tay đồng bày bắt đằng chẳng bấm chẳng chrome hôn thằng nó năng feature còn bắt đằng này anh nó có đangได้hướng kia buộc chrome hôn kia buộc kia khó hay đấy thử nhầm thật khó sau giờ khỏi na viêm thử bàn tay dương phở tam bật chật dương mình là phép trong phở xím dương mình là phép xăm rúng dương trong phở clone có dương phở clone whatever makes you happy. I'm just giving you the truth and information. That's it.